Hello and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that will soon appear as its own superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. My name is Cody, and say, do you like to buy fleas? Well, here's a game that's all about buying fleas at a market. What's that? You don't actually buy fleas at a flea market. Flea Market from Mayfair Games. In Flea Market from Mayfair Games, 3 to 5 players are going to attempt to buy and sell a lot of useless junk at the flea market. Essentially what you do is each player gets a specific color. You get 2 of your color's dice, you get a little token, and you're ready to roll. You also have a player board you set up in the middle that has kind of a trail around it, and along that trail you put specific markers that have different number values. You disperse them randomly around the trail there. Now what's going to happen is, during the course of the game, you're going to attempt to buy stuff and then sell it because you want to gain $45. The first player that can gain $45 wins the game. You start with $24, so you think, that doesn't sound so hard, but it's perhaps not as easy as you might think. On your turn, you become the agent. You get the little agent token and you roll 3 white die. When you roll the 3 white die, whatever number pops up there, you look at the specific number of item somewhere on the board, you put it in the market. Then what's going to happen is every player is going to take their 2 die, they're going to roll it, but they're going to kind of hide it and shield their roll so nobody else knows what it is. You can re-roll one of your die. Essentially, that is your bid for whatever that item is. So you're bidding to buy these items, and critically, you're kind of hoping these die rolls that get that item to come up, you're going to want to try to maximize that. So you want to buy the items that kind of are on that bell curve, right? The items that potentially you're going to roll more than any other item. So like, for instance, for 3 die, a 12 might be a good thing to buy. Once you've all rolled your dice, the person who rolled the highest, they have a choice. They can buy the item for whatever they rolled, or they can simply pass. Then it goes to the next highest roller if he passes, the next highest roller if he passes. But if he buys it, he pays his money to the bank, he takes that item, places it in front of him. You continue to go around like this, and more of the objects will be removed from the board as they get sold. Now, as the items are removed from the trail and placed in the area where they're going to be sold, the first item then is going to replace the item that was taken in the trail. So you're gradually going to be kind of opening up more and more spaces. And those spaces have a number value on them. So what's going to happen is, sooner or later, somebody's going to roll a dice that's going to correspond not to an item on the trail, but an item in somebody's hands, an item they have already bought. Well, that item then goes back up for sale. And what's going to happen is, now every player but the player who owns that item is going to go ahead and they're going to roll and they're going to decide if they want to buy it. Now, simply by putting an item on the board that you own, you get a bonus in dollars of the space that was last uncovered on the board. Now, in addition to that bonus money, whatever they pay for it is going to go into your bank. So what this means is, over the course of the game, you're going to be spending money in order to make money. You want to spend a little bit of money for some of those items that, as I say, are going to fall within that bell curve to give you the most probability of coming up later in the game. As soon as someone has amassed $45, they win the game, and that is Flea Market. So that is just a bare, basic overview of how you play Flea Market, but really there's not a whole bunch more there. This is a very simple, very straightforward game. Although I should point out, the rule book I found a little bit ambiguous. It took us a minute just to kind of decipher it. Once we did, however, it made perfect sense, and it was easily playable, and a fairly quick and fairly engaging game. There's some strategy here. There's some strategy about how much do you really want to spend, because that item, it's all luck. It may come up again, it may not, but you can kind of try to maximize your luck by buying the right numbers if you can buy them low enough. And so there's a very interesting aspect there. This is a fun game. It's a straightforward game. There's some strategy, but it's not a terribly complex or terribly deep game. I enjoyed it generally. This is not a game I would necessarily call my cup of tea. A little too lucky, I think, for my standards. But and I love to chuck dice. Don't get me wrong. But it's maybe just a little bit too much luck for me. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I think younger players will really get a kick out of this, and I think it's a great game for teaching younger players some basic concepts about probability and what have you, and buying low and selling high. So in that sense, I think it succeeds. But still, I don't know that this is a game for everybody. So the recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Flea Market is try it before you buy it. I think you might like it, but, check it out first. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and you know, I really hope that Mayfair Games eventually makes market games based on all of the band members from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
I want to go to